Hi Aries, and welcome to your June 2021 extended reading. So in today's reading, we're going to talk about love, abundance, and your spiritual health. And I'll be pulling a card for each from 3 different decks and then clarifying as we go. We're looking to identify blocks in those areas, and I will end with some type of mantra or meditation for you guys to repeat or practice throughout the month to help clear those blocks or to navigate around them. So, welcome for anybody who's brand new. If you're not, I'm very glad to have you back. So, Aries, June for 2021 is a big month. It is if you're looking at numerology, it is 11 and 11 universal month. And what that means is it's really a portal month that can help us kind of open our eyes to what is beyond just what we can see in a tangible way. It is the gateway to the divine or to the unknown, whatever you would like to call it. And it's also giving us the time to really take a look. So if you think of the number 11, it looks like 1 and 1 together. So it's really about bringing together the individual with another individual. So it's almost like in this month, we are going to see ourselves against the backdrop of everybody else and really seeing where we fit. And then being able to come together, because when you reduce the number 11 and you add 1 plus 1, it equals the number 2. And the number 2 in numerology really focuses on partnership and helping others and how we relate to others as well, how we see our self-value and how we expect that return to us or how we put that out into the world. And this month is really going to be one of those dynamic months that show us our unique selves in relationship to others. So it really is a month to get out there, to interact with other people. And as you're doing that, to really be aware of yourself and to be aware of how you're feeling at all times in situations where you are interacting with others. So a good example of this would be if you are at work and you suddenly feel insecure, or you suddenly feel very excited because you're sharing something in a meeting that makes you look great in the eyes of others. It's about really seeing, as you interact in these situations where you are bringing yourself into a group of other people, or even just into interaction with one other person, what is coming back to you and how authentically are you sharing yourself? That really comes down to the core of this month, because if you can really tap into being able to share yourself authentically and then be able to read what comes back to you, that's really going to allow you to tap into the energy of the month to help open your eyes to the beyond, to what are the possibilities in store for you. So again, this is really a portal month. It's very important. Okay, guys, so we're going to jump right into love. We're going to see what is in store for you for the month of June. Now, I am pulling a surrender card, which I love for love, because there's always something that we have to surrender. So let's see what comes up for our Aries for love for the month of June. Now, as I'm sitting here, shuffling these cards, I'm hearing the word hurt. And what's coming through for me is, and I almost am feeling it right now, some of you might have gone through some hurt. And when I talk about love, I don't talk about just romantic love. I talk about love in the way that we relate to important relationships in our life. This could be love in the way that perhaps you have a mentor in your life, or a parent, a family member, a friend, and how we love and how that is returned to us. So again, bringing in that component of the 11 and the number 2 in relationships. And I'm feeling that you guys have been hurt. And this is a month, I think, we are going to, specifically for love, process this hurt. Now, oh, interesting, as I look at what card came up. So the surrender card that you have is surrender the idea you can fix someone. And it says it's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. And here's the card. It looks almost like, I like this. It's almost like a fairy tale version of Robin Hood. But I think that that's actually plays into what I'm feeling with you guys, is that oftentimes we can become hurt in relationships that are important to us, whether they are romantic or in any other type of close relationship to us. And we feel that perhaps we can either stay in a relationship and provide more love and support to the person, hoping that that's enough to make them change, especially when you're in a difficult situation, in a difficult relationship. Or if you're in a relationship where you simply don't feel like you are receiving what you are putting in, and so you try to adjust what the other person is giving to you. An example of this would be, I think a lot of us have heard of the term love language, and that lots of people can have different love languages. So for instance, their love language is simply showing through, leaving nice little notes, like I love, like almost more like recognition and constant acknowledgement of the smaller things in the relationship. So leaving little sticky notes that are like, I love you, sweetie, have a great day at work. It makes me think of the peanut butter commercial where the mom puts the little heart in the sandwich, and even though nobody sees it, it's there. And it's that kind of, somebody could have that kind of love language. And then another person could have love language where it's all about large gestures, about giving, planning the big weekend away, and in return, most of us will expect to receive the type of love language that we put out. So if we're the type of big gesture person, we expect big gestures in return, and when we don't receive that, we can become disappointed. And the same thing, if you're the person who's leaving little sticky notes that are like, go, sweetie, go, and you never get something like that in return, it can start to feel like you're giving more than the other person is providing to you. And it could simply be that other person is just giving in the way that they know how. And sometimes what can happen when we get into relationships like that, even if it's friendship or family-based and not romantic-based or even work-based, that we can try to do things to alter the other person and what they're providing into us. Meaning, you can either try to drop hints that I don't like when you, how come you never do this? Wouldn't it be nice if you planned a vacation, how like I've planned the last 10, how come you don't plan one? Maybe it's on you to plan this next one. Or if it's in a work relationship, it could be that you feel that for you, it's all about task. You're a very task-oriented person at work. And so you are checking the boxes, sending the emails, staying the extra 2 hours to make sure that all the little things are taken care of. But the other person that you work with is a dynamo. They're the idea man. They come up with the big ideas that maybe you can't come up with. But instead, you get annoyed when they don't answer the emails or they don't finish the tasks that they were given. And so you try to, sometimes it can come across as almost like manipulation, like the passive aggressive element of like, oh, hey, I left a sheet on your desk that gives you the tasks for the week. I noticed that you seem to, be falling down a little bit on that. Like, let me help you out. And in reality, that person doesn't want your help. And that's also not how they express themselves. So for love, bringing it back to love though, and taking it away more from work, love really is for me, what I believe is the underlying energy that connects us all. And when things start to feel out of balance in love, it can affect everything, because love directly affects our self-value, our perception of our own self-value. And when we don't feel that we are receiving, it could be love and appreciation from a romantic partner, love and appreciation from a boss or coworker, or love from family or a close friend. This is really where we can start to feel that we are our own value is not being recognized, and we can in turn start to hide that part of ourselves of like, well, fine, then I'm just not going to answer all my emails, and fine, I'm just not going to cook dinner, even though I feel like I want to cook dinner because this is the way that I express my love to somebody else. I'm just not going to do it. and I'm going to start not doing certain things, and I'm not going to have a productive conversation with my partner or with my boss. I'm just going to start to do things in a passive aggressive way. And this is where it can start to, that you might not even know that you're doing it in a passive aggressive way. You might just start feeling frustrated and saying, well, fine, then if I'm not appreciated, I'm not appreciated. And clearly, like, I'm not of value to this person because I'm not receiving that validation. I'm not receiving the love from them. And this card this month is showing me, surrender the idea you can fix someone. And this is a hard one because it's a hard one, and it's a liberating one at the same time. Because even though we all have the ability to grow and evolve, and that actually I feel is the purpose of our lifetimes, it's not on us to force another to change or grow or evolve. And there are times when people grow and evolve in different ways and at different times and at different rates. And no more so than I would look at you and say that there's a part of you that needs to change, because I look at everybody as a unique being. You are singular in who you are, and that should be loved and appreciated. The same should be for another. And it's not on us to try to force change or try to point out something that is not working for you, because then you're devaluing their own self-value, their own uniqueness. So it's not on us to look at somebody who in a relationship loves grand gestures and to tell them, hey, grand gestures are worthless, they're just a waste of money, you might as well just leave me little sticky notes and cook me dinner. Because in reality, the other person, the way that they authentically are able to express themselves are through the grand gestures. Or it can come in small things. So it can be, especially in romantic relationships, it can really come down to, maybe one person doesn't like to go out and socialize that much. They are more of an introvert, and they really appreciate time in the home or time to focus on a hobby or something along those lines, and the other person's an extrovert. And if you're one or the other, it's not on you to force the other person to go against their better nature. Now, granted, we can all help somebody, introduce them to something new. But if they express that this is not what makes them happy or makes them feel uncomfortable, then this is really where we have to, pull back and say, okay, well, this is where we have to either through the eyes of love, realize that they are their own unique being as much as you are, and you let them be who they are, and you realize that that's not a reflection on you. You're surrendering that you need to fix them. It's more about, what's liberating about surrendering the feeling that you have to fix somebody or that you need to fix somebody is that if you look at them like they are you're their own perfect, unique person. And yes, they'll probably make mistakes just like you will, but still, as they are, what they like, dislike, how they act instinctually, and what brings them a sense of feeling authentic and emotionally fulfilled, it's coming from a place of non-judgment. And it's up to you to also make the choice for yourself. Is this worth it for me to stay in a relationship with somebody who is this person authentically? Because what's beautiful about our experience is that we can't control that other person, nor should we try to. But we have the full ability to control ourselves and the choices we make for ourselves. And the choices that we make should be in the best interest of ourselves for our continued personal growth. And so if you are in a relationship with somebody and you've realized that their love language is very different than yours, let's say you are an extrovert and they are an introvert, and you find yourself more and more and more wishing that you would have a partner who would come out to social gatherings with you or want to go have date nights, things of that nature, and you're finding the other person that you're with is not like that, then it's not on you to change them. It's on you to realize how that's impacting you and making you feel each time you have to go out without them. And if you feel like it is somehow leaving, it's not emotionally fulfilling for you to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't perceive life or interact with life in the same way that you do. Also, sometimes what can happen is that we also tend to take that person as a reflection of our own self-value. And I know, even from personal experience, I've been guilty of this, both in work and partner relationships, where if the other person doesn't want to go out with you, you will take it personally and think, is there something wrong with me? Maybe he or she just doesn't like my friends or doesn't like me. Or they make an offhand comment at some point like, wow, you're so loud, you talk too much, and you take that personally. And that's not on you to take personally. That's on you to realize that the other person is expressing themselves, which they have every right to do. Now, it may still have not maybe been in the best way or the most constructive way possible, but this is where you get a chance to step into your own seat of personal power to say, you know what? I am a talkative person and I enjoy it. And I am loud. And I'm loud for a reason. Because I was made this way. And I am meant to share this part of myself and to be this person because not everybody is. And if that person doesn't like that about me, well, then I can make the choice to understand that is something that they don't like, and I won't invite them out, when I go out with my friends or work events or things of that nature. And I'll understand that doesn't bring them any sense of fulfillment as much as it doesn't bring me a sense of fulfillment. And you can release that feeling of judgment from the other person. Now, if you can't do that and you find that it's making you feel more and more uncomfortable, or that you're walking away from every interaction, and now this can come from family members and friends and work environments, that you feel like every time you're around somebody, you feel this need of either needing to show them something about themselves. This can happen a lot at work or with family, where you're like, man, this person just doesn't understand that they sounded like a jerk on the phone to our client, and that's why the client, fired us. And I need to show them that because they act this way on the phone, that they chase this person away. Sometimes that conversation can work well if you're the boss and this is your employee and it's a coaching, training lesson. But if this is something where you're realizing this is just innate to the person's unique self, they are an aggressive personality. They are going to constantly go off like that on somebody, and you witness that this is part of who they are. It's not on you to change that. What it is on you to do, and within your control, is to be able to make the choice. Do I continue to work in this environment under a boss that is continually driving away business that then undermines my own work efforts, or do I not? And do I choose to move on? Or if you're in a committed partnership, do I choose to stay in a relationship with somebody who doesn't want to go out with me to events and talk a lot the way that I do, but I appreciate what they bring on the other side to our relationship, which is this passion that they have for their hobbies in this quiet way. And while I'm out socializing, they're at home, making that environment wonderful. And if you have the ability to take them for who they are and how it complements you, that's great. But if you're finding that, just like in the work environment, their authentic self is under or devaluing your authentic self by, let's say, telling you that you are constantly too loud, mentioning that to you, or mentioning how much they don't like that you spend so much time going out with other people, then this is really where it's on you. And I think this month, this is really going to come up, this element. And I do feel whatever relationship this is specific for, there is an element of hurt, that you have been hurt, and probably for a long period of time. But you have been hurt by somebody else's reaction to you and reaction to the way that you show love. And what's interesting is that sometimes we don't realize that we are showing love when we go to work and we do a great job. Just as much as we show love when we are interacting with a family member that we are, helping with something, or as much as we interact with a partner. So in bringing this back to the theme of love, there is going to be something that comes up this month around a relationship that makes you feel that you are not receiving the love that you've put in. And it's most likely going to be a relationship that you feel you've been battling with trying to fix somebody. And this is the month where to be able to navigate this blockage of being able to freely give love from your most authentic core and bring it back into you, being able to be open and receptive to bringing love in without that sense of hurt, and bringing love into a sense of joy and peace and fulfillment, instead transmuting it. You're going to have to overcome the person that you feel you need to fix. And you're going to have to make a choice this month. Do I accept them for who they are? And do I work on seeing how they balance out? And then also work on my own internal confidence and faith in my unique self, and not have to realize myself that I don't have to have that judged by another or have that validated by another. Or am I going to make the change, and this is the month where I'm going to release this relationship from my life? So that's what's coming up in love for you, Aries, this month. Now we're going to get into abundance. And abundance I look at as, yes, financial. It can be tangible abundance and wealth. It can also be abundance in any area that you feel blocked in. Abundance can take many forms. Sometimes, again, we're all different. And for some people, abundance at a given point in time is going to relate directly to, I want abundance of joy in my life. I want an abundance of peace. I want an abundance of money. I want an abundance of feeling a sense of purpose and service behind my efforts. But I am going to see, a lot of times when I focus on abundance specifically, because I do have this in relationship to love and to spiritual health, abundance does come up, and generally it comes up around themes of financial abundance, work related, but we'll see what comes up for you. So Aries, let's see what's going to be what to expect. Ooh, okay, abundance. So we have go the distance, and you can see here it's a cheetah running, and it's number 47, which is interesting because in numerology the number 47 also equals the number 11. It's just bringing together two different numbers. So when you look at the number 4 plus the number 7, they equal 11. 4 in numerology is a stabilizing, creative number. It's really about doing the small things to build the stability for the great things in life. It's a workhorse number. And then the number 7 really ties into the spiritual side to our existence. So you kind of have this building block number with the spiritual side coming together to create the portal to being able to see beyond this month. So go the distance. What this is bringing in just instantly is that this month is going to be fast-paced for you. And it may seem in your, whatever you're looking to bring in work-wise or abundance-wise to yourself financially, that you may feel like you've been working hard for it. That's what I'm getting from here. That I see the checkered flag and the finish line here. But it's almost like I think you guys have been working on something for so long. And it's like, when am I ever going to just see the benefits? When am I going to get to that finish line? I'm almost there. And what this is telling me is that this month is going to be that month. This month is going to be that turning point, especially the number 47 aligning with the universal number for this month and kind of seeing it from a different perspective. So again, this portal element, but seeing through hard work combined with spirituality, it's really telling me you've done the hard work, you've built that foundation, and now Spirit's coming in this month to say, keep going. You're almost there. And you're at that finish line. So June is going to bring in something that you've been working towards. So whether this is you finally graduating from college with a degree that's going to allow you to do something that you've been wanting to do, or a course, whether this is you have your own business and you have been slogging away and finally you're going to see that turn in maybe making your first profit. Or this is you've been writing something and this is the month where a publisher reaches out to you and finally you get the recognition. Or if this is even, if you're looking for abundance in other areas of your life. I'm just trying to see if I hear anything specific for anybody. It's interesting. I'm seeing all the little stars. I've never actually noticed the little stars in this card before, but there's little stars all over the place. And the stars the star card in the major arcana in the traditional tarot is really about your North Star, keeping your eye on your own internal prize of what that star is for you. What is the ultimate sense of happiness and fulfillment? And what is that? And for me, I'm looking at this going, there's something here where this month you are going to reach a level in something that pertains specifically to your star, to something that you've been hoping and building and wishing on, and it's gonna come in this month. And it may feel fast-paced, actually. So it may have felt kind of like a slog up until this point. And this month it's almost going to be like a fast forward to like, okay, it's that last big push. And then you're going to like open up your eyes and be like, oh my God, it's here. I've got it. I got the call. I got, I got the sale. I got whatever it is. So this is actually going to be a very abundant month for you. And I really feel that it's going to be bringing in some large scale reward, financial reward, or just emotional fulfillment reward around a goal that really ties into almost I would call it your evolutionary destiny. So this is a big month for you. Really keep your eyes open and keep your work ethic at a high level. So even though it seems like in love you guys are going through a little bit of an emotional block, I think if you guys can clear that hurdle while keeping yourself at an elevated level of, I know you Aries can be at high energy, keep going this month. Don't let anybody bring you down. Don't release those people in your life that are blocking you from fully expressing yourself, and release anything that is blocking you from being able to be your best, especially in a work environment. So stop fixating on fixing your boss and just fixate instead on making every task that you complete this month the best that it can be, because you're almost there. It's going to be that promotion you've been seeking. It's going to be that phone call. It's going to be that certificate, whatever it is, you're going to get it. And that's going to be that major key step in your, again, kind of evolutionary destiny. Awesome card for you guys. All right, and now I'm going to pull from an animal oracle deck for your spiritual health. So we're going to see where you guys are at on connecting, and specifically connecting your unique self to your evolutionary destiny. So really what kind of the purpose aspect of, okay. So you got 3. So to go back to the description of what spiritual health is really, again, how easily and authentically are you expressing and engaging your internal unique self, your spirit, your soul, whatever you choose to call it, with your external environment, so that you continue to really fulfill the path that you're meant to be on, and the place and purpose, and so that you can feel that purpose, so you can continually be engaged with it instead of losing sight of it. So this month you actually have 3 cards. So we have Groundhog Spirit, and it says time to let go, and it's number 31. The card is so cute. I don't know. It's kind of funny. For me personally, I moved from the West Coast out to Virginia about a year ago. And I had never actually seen a groundhog in real life. We don't have groundhogs like this out in Southern California anyways. And seeing them out here on the East Coast was so much fun, because they're really interesting creatures. They're much bigger than you'd think, and they're kind of funny. They're bold. They're bold creatures. But it says here, time to let go. And then we have number 5 is Bat Spirit, and it says a rebirth is assured. And then we have Koala Spirit, and it says spirit has a plan. These really line up, I think, beautifully. That there's something here. So we have time to let go, a rebirth is assured, spirit has a plan, and we have the number 31 breaking down to the number 4. Again, this kind of building stability, workhorse energy. We have number 5, which is the number of change and kind of shaking things up. It can be freedom, adventure, chaos. And then we have spirit has a plan, number 35, and that breaks down to the number 8, which is about personal power and abundance. So what I'm getting here is that this all kind of ties in together, actually, between your love and your abundance reading, that there is something that's going to need to be let go of. And that's going to be in the realm of, I believe, relationships, And this could tie specifically to your relationship, even with a job and the return that you feel that it could be that you have to release something. It could be something as simple as you guys are looking to, just release fixating so much on one aspect of your life and letting it go to be able to shift and really focus on that one aspect of your life that perhaps is going to be helping bring in abundance. So that can be, perhaps you've been juggling a 9-to-5 with your own startup business, and you realize that this is the time to let go of that fear of, the money that you might lose with walking away from a 9-to-5 and shifting your awareness to your personal business, because this is that month where you're going to have that breakthrough. And then it says a rebirth is assured. So there's something about this, along with, because Spirit has a plan, that it's almost like this month, especially with the number 11 and this kind of portal to the divine, into the spirit world, that there is this feeling that this is that turning point month for you. And for spiritual health, in order to not hold yourself back and to stay in that alignment with your purpose and feeling that there is meaning behind your actions, you are going to have to let something go. And whether this is a relationship that's been holding you back for a while, whether it be partnership, family, friend, coworker, or whether this is something internal. So this is doubt in yourself. Perhaps you've been holding back and you haven't been giving something your all. Or you've been tied to a geographic location and you're too afraid to say yes to making a move. Or now you have that degree, but you haven't really thought about what you're going to do with it. You've kind of been in this world of being a student and all of this, and now it's time to let that part of yourself go and move forward as the next version of yourself. You're moving forward from the student now to, let's say you were going to med school and you've been this med school student for all this time, and now you're not going to be a med school student anymore. You're moving into being a doctor. And it says a rebirth is assured. So you're going to transform. The number 5 is that number of transformation. It's that number of change. So yes, you're going to go through change, but Spirit has a plan. And that plan is, vibrating with the number 8, which is really going to be talking about your abundance. You're coming into a seat of personal power. So what I'm getting intuitively here with all of these kind of messages together is that for you this month, it's going to be focused on releasing something, an old version of self that could be tied to another person, or it could just be tied to your situation and circumstances. So again, you could be moving from being a student to the teacher, or you could be moving from one geographic location to another and maybe leaving behind family and friends, and for the first time you're going to be all on your own and now you're this individual. Or you're taking a new position within a company you've been with for a while, and it's scary. Perhaps you were comfortable in what you did before, but now it's time to let this go. And whatever you have to let go is going to be something that seems stable. Bringing in the number 4 with the number 3 plus 1 and the number 31. This is letting go of something that has seemed stable for you, or that you have been under the impression has created stability for you. So maybe you've stayed with a romantic partner because you felt that this person has brought in stability in some level, even though they have been detrimental on another level to your feeling your best self, to you feeling authentic and confident and happy with yourself. You've just stayed with them because they've brought a level of security. Same with a job. Same with staying around family members, or staying at school an extra year because you're scared to jump into being a doctor and you'd rather stay the student. So this is really about leaving behind something that you feel has created a sense of security, to understand that Spirit is waiting and ready for you to transform. And considering this month is that month, that portal to bringing in abundance and getting you, really taking one giant step towards one of your greatest hopes and dreams and wishes this month. Don't be afraid to let that one thing go. And you could be sitting here going, well, Lauren, I don't know what that is. What is that one thing? Well, that's where I'm going to tell you this month to, as far as a meditation, I want you to have what I call a walking meditation. You can call it a mantra. It's not really a mantra. I look at mantras are more something that you're going to be repeating to yourself throughout the month as kind of this, element of, I don't know, just keeping something in mind. And meditation, I usually, when I talk about meditation, refer to it as sitting quietly with yourself and allowing spirit and the external world to come into you and to tap into your own intuition and how it engages with that. But this month for you, Aries, you're such an active sign, and I really feel like this month is going to be, I feel like there's this tension building in you. That it's almost like a pot of steam that needs to be released. And for you, I want you to do an active, meditative awareness as you're moving through your day-to-day. So it's almost like getting yourself into the state of hyper awareness of self at all times throughout this month. And that as you're doing it, to keep in mind, just it can be at the back of your mind. The back of your mind, if you don't know what you have to release, in every situation that you're in, simply just have in the back of your mind, do I feel authentic? Every time you want to respond, every time you interact with somebody, especially because we're looking at the dynamic between our interpersonal relationships this month, just be hyper aware, almost like you're this outside observer, and you're in a meditative state of just kind of going through, you're going through the same motions you have, and you're not slowing down, and you're not sitting in the corner quietly meditating with nothing. You are being almost like above yourself while you're doing your basic tasks and fulfilling what you need to do, but being hyper vigilant and saying, okay, what feels good and what doesn't? Did I just stop myself from acting like myself? Did that person and what they said just make me feel bad about myself? Did I just spend all day at a job that kept me, that now I'm frustrated at the end of my day because I really wanted to do something else? And this is where I want you to focus this month, is this keeping moving, keeping going, don't stop, stick with the pace you've been at, but really focus on being that observer from above, and hyper aware of how you're feeling. And the area where you feel the most frustration and the most inauthentic and the most hurt, that's the area you need to release. And by the end of this month, you'll know. All right, I'm going to get you I want to pull a couple tarot cards just to see energy around what's coming up for you guys. Okay, way too many cards are trying to jump out at me. You guys have a lot to say. Let's see. Let's just pull a couple. What additional? Six of Swords. Beautiful card and a beautiful message. This is a card of moving on. It's a card of transcendence. This is really the card for me when I talk about transcendence, specifically in relation to contemplation. This is that card of through your mind, through our we can sometimes get into overthinking, or we can block ourselves off with negative thoughts. This is the card where we let that go. We release those ties to the past. We release that need to be right or to keep fighting the good fight in our minds from a mental side, or we keep convincing ourselves. It's really this is really moving on and transcending us convincing ourselves to stay in something or to keep perpetuating something that is only hurting us, that is only blocking us from moving on and transcending to that next evolutionary level. So I think for you guys this month, this is going to be a big month for you. This is going to be an active month. This is a month where you really need to stay aware, and you are going to have to release something. But it's also, in doing so, you're going to elevate to that next level. You're going to make this big evolutionary jump in some way in your life that is going to directly impact how you view yourself, along with being able to capitalize on your own self-value, because you're going to see it returned through some type of financial or emotional abundance that's going to allow you, again, to get one giant step closer to a big dream or hope or wish of yours. All right, Aries, this has been a great reading. I actually am excited to hear about what comes through for you for this month. I hope you've enjoyed this and that that's been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments below. And there is additional content this month focusing on curiosity and diving into kind of how you can get back in touch with your unique self and your abilities, and how to use those and work with those to really capitalize on the energies of this month. I have a couple of videos that will be up, and some downloadable material as well. All right, guys, I will see you next month for July's reading. Have a fantastic June. Bye.